Okay, how's it going, guys? Just wanted to give everyone a second to hop in before we start talking about. Awesome. Yeah, so just giving everyone a second to pile in. We're talking about something a bit controversial and honestly on the side of conspiracy theory today. I have some opinions about it, things I want to share. I also wanted to get your guys' opinions on it. Um, Yeah, definitely a lot of things to dive into and to cover today. So I'm just going to kind of ramble on for about 20 more seconds to get to the minute mark. So that way we can have a discussion. Even before we get started, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that eBay limits how much you can actually grow and how many items you can actually sell per day, per week, per year? What do you guys think that there's a number that you aren't allowed to cross, things of that nature? I hear a lot of rhetoric around it. I hear a lot of people expressing their personal experience and anecdote. A lot of people have these barriers that they feel like they can't pass no matter what they do, things of that nature. I want to talk about all of that today, and I definitely want to hear your guys' opinions on it. So, all right, minute and 30 seconds in, we got about 20 people here. So I'll go ahead and hop into the topic. Everyone, please let me know in the comments what you think your opinions are. So, the question is something that people have been talking about a lot recently here about eBay on YouTube and in Facebook groups and Reddit and things like that. A lot of people are asking, does eBay limit our growth and sales? So to answer that quickly, yes, they do. Um, for example, when you first start selling on eBay, you're only allowed to list a certain amount of items. Okay. You literally can't, like, the software doesn't allow you to list more than that number. Then once you keep listing and you keep selling things, eBay will automatically increase the amount of items you are selling. So right there, very logically speaking, they're literally limiting how many we can sell and list, obviously. But I want to go deeper into that, obviously. So what I recommend doing actually because of this is growing slow. We as humans, especially when we see YouTube videos or TikToks or things that can make us feel really excited and emotional about reselling, we want to list as many items as we can, as fast as we can, and we want to start making that full-time income yesterday, definitely not tomorrow. So we want to get as many items up as we can, but eBay limits that because there's this thing called burnout. There's this thing called things actually being harder than we think they are. So sometimes we think we're going to list 100 items and we're going to sell 40 of them in the first 7 days. And that typically is not the reality on eBay. So people get pissed off and then they're like, you know what, screw this. And then a lot of times there are illegal activities going on, and I'll speak about that as well in a second. But I definitely recommend, in a perfect world, I would never recommend asking eBay for limit increases. I never have. My situation is a little bit different because I bought like 4 or 5. Regrettably, I say this. I bought $4 or $5,000 worth of basketball cards over an 8-month period. Terrible, terrible decision on my part. But I bought a ton of individual cards, $5 at a time, $20 at a time, 16 cents at a time. I just bought a ton of basketball cards, right? And before I ever listed anything on eBay, I had like 340 feedback, and I had like 1,000 item limit already before I had even put anything on eBay. So I have never had to ask for a limit increase because I already had so much exposure onto the site. But I really do recommend, in a perfect world, never asking eBay for that limit increase and just slowly listing and then increasing your listings over time. And then what I would do is, a lot of people start at like 2 today, 8 tomorrow, 6, and then 4, and then 0, 0, 0, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. I just recommend doing 2 every single day until you hit that limit. And then typically eBay automatically, if you've only been doing 2 at a time, gives you that limit increase. And then I'd go to 4, and then I'd go to 5, and then I would stay at 5 until I got a limit increase. And then the day that I got a limit increase, if sales are going good, if everything's going great, I would increase my listings. And then I wouldn't increase my listings until eBay had automatically increased how many items I could have, then I would increase my listings and then keep doing that. That's what I actually recommend in a perfect world, in a vacuum. That's what I would recommend you guys do on eBay, is only list what they allow you to list and then just grow with the rate in which they kind of want you to grow. Makes sense to me. Now, on this topic, I have heard a lot of my subscribers selling too many items too quickly and actually having their payments withheld. Now, eBay automatically does this right out the gate. They hold your payment just to make sure that you're legit, to make sure that you haven't stolen any items, to make sure that you're actually in it to win it and you're going to keep, posting and selling. They want to make sure that the items are actually getting to the customer, and then when they open up that box, it is what you actually said you sent to them. A lot of people will hop on eBay and they will sell an iPhone for $800 and then they will ship a rock. That's a pretty common scam. Not a common, but it happens. And so eBay wants to make sure that you're not the rock selling scammer, right? So sometimes a lot of you guys have expressed to me that you sold way too much right out the gate, and then eBay actually withholds that payment. So they don't want you to grow extremely fast, and they want to make sure that you are taking all of the steps necessary to be a good business owner and to make sure everything's going great. So there's that. Now I want to get into kind of a more complex issue, and that is, does eBay limit year-over-year growth? Now I'm going to talk about someone specifically here. He's my friend. His name is Josh Galt. He's on YouTube. He does a live about, he calls it the Advanced eBay Seller Live show, I guess you could call it. It's every weekday, typically 1 o'clock Eastern. I actually recommend a lot of you guys to check that out, to go subscribe to him and then bookmark that live. They talk about a lot of things, and I agree with the majority of what Josh says. Like, honestly, like a very, very, very big majority. He's a clear thinker, and he really thinks about the processes of business and eBay in general. But he talks about these numbers all the time, very openly and specifically. So I'll go ahead and do them as well. He is convinced that he cannot grow more than 65% year over year. He says, and I won't say his exact numbers, but let's say that last year in 365 days, he did $100,000. That is not what he did. I'm not saying that's even close to what he did. Maybe he did way more. Maybe he did way less. That's up for him to say what he would like. But let's just say, to keep the number simple, he did $100,000 revenue in 365 days. And he is convinced that if he gets to 165,000, he will have a bad sales day the next day, because eBay doesn't want him to eclipse that 65% year over year growth. It may be around 70%, maybe around 62, 66, whatever. But he's convinced that at 65%, there's some sort of hard cap where he cannot grow past that number. And maybe he has a lot of, data behind it. And maybe that truly is the case. But when you take me, for instance, I'll go into this. And I'm not saying that I'm right and Josh is wrong, or Josh is right and I'm wrong. I'm just going over some data here. And when it comes to only his account and only my account, that is considered anecdote. It's not data. You cannot judge things across the whole platform unless you judge the whole platform. So when we're taking his account and my account into example, that is strictly anecdote. It is not data whatsoever. It could be, honestly, it could just be, what's it called? A wash. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. Okay. When it comes to only looking at two accounts, you cannot look at data at that point, because it is just not enough data to actually analyze. But if we go into mine, so he is convinced that he cannot get over 65% growth. And then when we look at my numbers, I'm going to this year compared to last year. My numbers are up 109% year over year. So that means if I made $100,000 in 365 days, the last 365 days, it would mean I would make $109,000, because I'm up 109%. So I would be, double of that. I would make an extra, whatever. Okay, so you guys get what I'm saying, right? So if with those numbers, I would be at like 220 12,000 or something like that. But I am up 109% year over year, and I've spoken with many other people who are up 70%. Some people are up 180%. Some people are up. Last year I was up 1,000%. That's obviously a number we can't take into consideration because 2 years ago I only sold on eBay for 16 days and I made like $400. And then I definitely made way more than 1,000% increase on $400 the next year. You also have to take in consideration that I really actually just started my journey on eBay. So if we hop into last year, I did revenue $1,837 in January of 2021. So I only did $1,800. And then by that next month, I was already at $11,915 for February. So I dramatically increased there, and I didn't experience any buffers or anything like that. But when it comes to growth, you're usually going to grow rapidly, very, very rapidly. If you're a smart businessman and you know what you're doing, you're going to grow very, very rapidly year over year for the first year, probably for the second, probably for the third. And then depending on your strategy, sometimes you start to see some stagnation. Sometimes people see stagnation right off the bat, just depending on your growth and your strategy and things like that. But it's hard. There might be a lot to what Josh is saying because I think he's like 2 years ahead of me. So he's on he's rounding out year 3. I'm only rounding out year 2. So maybe this time next year, I won't be able to get over that 65% either. I don't think so, but it's a very big possibility. There's also a possibility that this is category specific. I tell him and many others all the time, if you just start only selling digital cameras, I promise that you'll be up hundreds of percent year over year, every single year. If you just find those in-demand items, I don't think that there's a clear buffer. But I could be wrong, and this is why I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on that. Now, when it comes to that, I don't think that there could be, but I don't think that any of us know that exact number of where eBay says, okay, this is too much growth. I think it may be, even though it's an algorithm, I believe that it could be more of an art than a science, depending on the products, depending on the account health, depending on all the factors that they go into judging an account. Maybe they only let you grow past a certain amount, or maybe it's just seasonality, a time of year where sales can be slower and you feel like it's a lot slower than it should be, but it actually is about as fast as it should be. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm starting to ramble a little bit. So let me go back to my notes. I just don't know if there's an actual number where eBay says, hey, you can't grow this fast. But I do believe that is a policy that they have in place. I think that they don't. I like to think of them as like a credit issuer. So when I got my very first credit card, I had a $700 limit. And now I currently have I think my credit limit is in the 600,000s. Like I could just go spend $600,000 today on credit if I wanted to. And I think I could have in the millions if I wanted to, but I don't right now. But I may get into house flipping one day and I may have just a house flipper card that has a $2 million limit. We'll see. Who knows? But I like to think of it in this instance. There's no way that Discover, the very first credit card that I ever got, that gave me a $700 limit, they would not give me a $600,000 limit when I got the card at 17 years old. There's just no chance. And I think eBay is the same way with the listings, but I also think it's the same way with the amount of sales. I think that there are buffers in place. It's hard to know in exact science what those buffers are, but I do believe that eBay has set in place these buffers to where, okay, they're used to sending out 7 packages on a good day. And I think if we give them 329 sales, I don't think that's going to be a positive experience for their buyers because they clearly don't have the capacity to take care of that on their next day shipping timeframe. I truly believe that. I think that's a very, very wise thing that eBay does, and I believe that that's in place. I don't know what the number is. Honestly, if I put my store 80% off today, I don't think I would sell 2,000 items. I don't think that the system would allow that. I could be wrong, But I don't know. That would be, I couldn't do that. I have 2,700 items in my store. If 2,000 sold today, that would overwhelm me for sure. It would overwhelm. I even have 2 part-time employees, and I think it would overwhelm all 3 of us. I don't think we could get it out with our systems in place right now. And I think eBay understands that. So I think there is some algorithmic buffers and limitations to that, but I'm not sure. If we take Tech and Sports, for example, he talked about how he listed 120 items every single day for who knows how long. It might have been 6 months. It might have been 6 years. It might have been 16 years. I'm not sure how long he listed 120. But then he said one day he decided that they were going to list 250 every single day. So he went from 120, and he said he was selling around 120, I believe. I don't want to speak for him. But I believe he said he was listing 120 and selling 120, more or less. And then overnight, he decided to go to 250. And he talks about in his podcast all the time that it took, I believe he said, 11 months to catch up. So he's listing 120 and he's selling 120. Overnight, he goes to 250, and he does 250 every single day, Monday through Sunday, every single day of the year. And it took 11 months for his sales to catch up to where he's selling about 250 every day. That's what he explained in his podcast. And that kind of goes with my theory of, eBay wants to make sure that you have the capacity to ship out 250 before they start giving you 250. They want to make sure that you can ship out 12 when you're only shipping out 3 a day. They want to make sure that you can ship out 5 consistently, and then 7 consistently, and then 9 consistently, and then 12 consistently. I don't know if it's that much of a science and if it's a mathematical formula like that, but I believe that eBay is like that. So I am I guess, ambassador for what you could call slow is fast and fast is slow. When you're first beginning a business, I think that you should go so slow. And it's hard. It's very hard even for me because I have that go-getter personality. I want to get everything done yesterday, and I don't want anything to do tomorrow because I know that I will fill my day today and tomorrow with stuff to do that's going to help me succeed. So I want to get everything done as quick as possible. That's something that I fight with back and forth all the time. But I truly believe that the slow growth is the key to success, the formula to success here. So slow is fast and fast is slow. If you take your time and you go slow and you learn how to be the number one a day lister or the number 1 3-a-day lister, no one is better at listing 3 items a day than you are. And then you go to 5. I think you're going to be significantly better at listing 5 because you took the time at 3. Does that make sense? So I think Jeff Bezos, I don't know if he coined this, but he talks about it a lot. He says slow is fast and fast is slow. If you do everything super slow at the beginning, you create this foundation that you do all of those things very quickly and efficiently, and it becomes fast. And then even though you're going slow, you become so fast at it that your slow is now fast. Slow is fast and fast is slow. So especially when you're creating a business, I think it's really important to go slow. Now, if we take a look at Kevin over at Commonwealth Picker, for example, again, I don't want to speak for any of these guys. I've brought up Josh Galt, I've brought up Tech and Sports. Now I'm also bringing up Kevin, the Commonwealth Picker. I never want to put words in anyone's mouth, so they can all, do what they want with this. I'm just using this as examples because it's something that's really being talked about in the community right now, and I wanted to shed my light and opinion on it. So Kevin has been doing this for 20 years. And I don't know his financials. I don't know how much he sells per day, per week, per month. But all of a sudden, he had 2 really huge card sales that made several $100s per sale. And he talked about it a little bit on his channel. They talk about it a little bit on his podcast a little bit. And it seems like it was those 2 sports cards that went for several $100s, all of a sudden making more money than he's used to, that made eBay investigate his account. Again, growing too fast. So that's something that comes into play here. Maybe eBay stepped in and said, hey, this is growing too fast, or it's suggesting some things that eBay does not want on their platform. So they reviewed it. Everything turned out to be fine, which is awesome. I truly believe Kevin is a very, very, very cool individual. I really look up to him. And everything ended up being good to go on that front. But again, it points to maybe eBay doesn't want too fast. Now, completely switching gears, there is a lot. I've been talking for 20 minutes. I need to hop into these questions soon. Last point that I want to make here. There's a lot of theft going on. It's been going on since the eon of time. Ever since human has been around, theft has been an issue. There are some things going on in certain parts of the country and certain parts of the world where petty theft is being decriminalized and things of that nature. You can steal up to a certain amount without being charged and things of that nature. And so a lot of theft is happening, and a lot of people are stealing things and putting them on eBay. And then eBay is the one getting into trouble because they are the firm that can be looked at and actually be targeted and taken down, right? So eBay wants to protect themselves from these illegal listings, from these people that are stealing and then putting them on eBay and these other platforms. So if you are selling $5,000 a year worth of product, and then all of a sudden you list $59,000 worth of Chanel perfume sealed, and then there's also reports that Chanel had $60,000 worth of perfume stolen. It's pretty easy to put 2 and 2 together. But even if there are no reports of these designer brands having things stolen, a lot of times things just go unnoticed. And all of a sudden, if you have $30,000 worth of Travis Mathew polos, there's going to be questions asked for sure. If all of a sudden you're only selling $50,000 a year worth of product, and then all of a sudden you sold $150,000 worth of one brand of brand new clothing, that's definitely going to be flagged, and eBay is definitely going to take a look at that and limit that growth. And I think that is a positive thing. So that's the last thing I want to say on it. I've talked way too long on this already. I want to know your guys' opinions. Do you think that eBay limits growth? Do you think that you should just list everything in sight and just grow? Do you think that you need to have a business plan in place for best practices? Do you think that there actually is an algorithmic buffer that says, hey, at this threshold, we start hiding listings. At this threshold, we start making it harder for items to be found so that way they don't sell too much or too often? Do you guys think that that is? I guess I'll make one final statement here. I believe that eBay wants to protect itself, wants to protect the buyer, and also wants to protect us, the sellers. And the best way to do that is to have a comfortable year-over-year growth. They do that by tracking your account health with those metrics, and they track that by giving you a certain amount of listings that you can do per day, per week, per month, per year. And I think if we follow those guidelines, we don't have much to worry about. There's always something to be worried about, and there's always freak things that can happen outside of our control. So we always have to have a backup plan and always be ready to pivot or overcome barriers. But I do believe that it's something that we need to be aware of. I think that eBay definitely wants us to grow more than we thought imaginable, but I think they want us to do it at a rate that's comfortable for them and for us. So let me know what you think. Andy Silmeda, thanks for being here, man. Hey, Shane, how's it going? Really appreciate you guys being here. Hey, Jake, the only thing I've heard in multiple eBay YouTubers who have said their accounts was banned or suspended because they grew too fast. Yeah, so I do believe that there is too fast of growth. Some people are too afraid, and then some people are too ambitious. I wish that eBay could tell us, hey, in this category, you can't grow this fast, or things of that nature. But I think that's I don't even think eBay really knows those numbers. Maybe they do. I think they do. They allow you to grow the more active you are as a seller, in my opinion. Yep, that's also true. The more active you are, the more yardstick you're going to be given, the more leash you're going to be given, 100%. I believe it is all up to you and what you put into it. That is my experience. That's from what I've said, that may not be what came across, but that is my true synopsis as well, is that you are in charge of your destiny, and that I never blame eBay for slow sells. I only blame myself. And I think it's really up to you. I honestly, one of the things that I preach on this channel is pick how much money you want to make, work backwards, and then do that. And I believe that you can do that with eBay 100%. Sup, Jake? Getting ready to commute home from the 9 to 5. That's awesome. I love hearing the people that have a 9 to 5 plus this on the side. Dwayne the Rock Johnson always says, "Don't work a 9 to 5. Don't work on someone else's dreams for 8 hours and then come home and not work on your own." Love to hear it, Jeff. Have you heard USPS might start offering free boxes for Ground Advantage? I have heard rumblings of that. I haven't seen anything. I wish that USPS was a company that I could invest in. I would definitely. I'm invested in UPS and eBay, so I can know what's going on in those companies because I use them every day. And I wish I could be invested in USPS to get that information quicker. I don't know any details on that whatsoever. First time catching a live. Appreciate your channel. Hey, I appreciate you, Patty. Master Maniac Mexico, it's been a while. Thanks for reaching out. It says, I have a kind of situation here. I did send a package out of the States and it got lost. Although I insisted and kept the buyer informed, eBay gave the money back to him and damaged my account. That's always, let's see, today after 4 weeks, I got a call that the item is delivered, but my money is gone. Is there anything I can do to repair my eBay account? I don't have experience in that, unfortunately. Fortunately, because it's never happened to me, but unfortunately, because I want to be able to help you out, I would recommend calling eBay. I know it's really hard, but if you Google have eBay call me, the first thing you should see on Google is eBay have us call you. Click on that, put in your number, and they usually call you within 2 to 10 minutes. And then you can just try to get to the right person to try to get an answer for that. Because I think if you can get to eBay managed payments, I think someone will reward you for having the package delivered. I don't want to get your hopes up and I don't want to make any statements, but I think if you talk to the right person, they can help you out with that, especially if your account is in good standing other than that issue. eBay increases your limits really fast if you're doing the right things. I 100% agree. So I would push the envelope of trying to grow as fast as they will let you. Trying to do such a good job and doing it quick enough to where they just keep giving you those limit increases. I noticed as soon as I registered as a business, my limit went to 100,000 per month, way more than I can do. LO. Yep, exactly. And it's exponential too. So like you can only list like 10 and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you can do 70, 150, 250, 1,000, 15,000. I think mine went from 1,000 to 10,000. And then I think, let's see what it says here on my app. On my app, it says it says on my app, I can have $490,000 worth of inventory at any time. That's my current limit. When do you recommend switching to an eBay store? You can actually Google that. You can say, when should I get an eBay store? I recommend, so like the exact math is they charge you 10 cents every 30 days per listing. So that's 50 listings a month equals $5. So if you have more than 50 listings, I would recommend getting a basic store. Hey, Jake, you told us to ship golf clubs via UPS, and I thought you said they would ship them for $15. Is that correct? Trying to list a flat rate so as to not scare them off because eBay says over 100. Yeah, so I live in Utah, and I ship golf clubs out to California. Usually costs me $8.50. When I ship them out to New Jersey, which is, I think it's like 2,700 miles away, maybe even closer to 3,000. That usually costs me like $12. So I do a flat $12.95. And if it goes to California, I make a little bit of money on the shipping. If it goes to New Jersey, I'm covered. The only thing is if it goes to Hawaii, you're screwed. So I still ship them out to Hawaii because it doesn't happen very often and I absorb it into my business. But especially if you're new and if you don't have a ton of experience or money in your bank yet, I would click off. I would just click lower 48 states, because if you ship it to Hawaii, you can only use USPS. And because it's a long golf club, a lot of times it's like $70 to ship. So you definitely don't want to be shipping golf clubs to Hawaii. But yeah, so if you put 15 flat, that would be good. I do $12.95 for all my baseball bats and golf clubs. I sold a lot of cards on eBay 3 years ago. Hottest time of the market. Yes, it definitely was. Didn't matter the small years past. Yeah, so like when Zion and Ja Morant were the rookie class, things were going nuts, man. Like Giannis, I remember buying a Giannis card, a Giannis rookie, when I was, I think in 2019, like right before the hype, and I bought it for like $22, and then I sold that card a few months later. It was like a year later. I sold it a year later. That same $22 card, I sold it for $1,800. That is the big that like man. If only I bought 400 of those Giannis cards, I could be retired. I'll never retire, but I could be retired. Hot items sell. Too many clothes online. Yes, yes. There's a lot of clothes online, but I still sell clothes every day. Yeah, just gotta find what sells. Patty says, I'm an eBay seller based in Anchorage, Alaska. My 90 days is about 15K. Good for you. That's awesome numbers. But I feel like I'm bottlenecked based on time to get items up and listed. Currently doing 10 a day. Any advice? Yeah, with that information, it's a bit harder to give advice because I don't know how often you source, if you have a full-time job. But yeah, honestly, I would just keep doing 10 a day for a while. So there's this thing called a death pile. There's this thing called a draft bank, and there's this thing that I call a queue. What I would do is I would keep listing 10 until you have 250 drafts, and then I would up it to 15. And then all of a sudden, if your draft bank ever gets below 100, then that means you're not finding enough supply to keep your 250 draft bank. So you need to either go back down to like 12 or 10, or just increase your sourcing so you can maintain that new listing. In my business, for example, I have 2,700 listed. I have 250 in my draft bank, and I have 30 ready to list. And so if I ever get my queue ready to list to 100, then I would increase my listings. If I ever got below 100 in my draft bank, then I would need to decrease my listings. I hope that answered your question. Hello, teach me. Love the videos. I'm doing my best. Yeah, just keep watching the videos, and I hope I can be a great resource for you guys. Has anyone ever experienced a wheel effect? No sales for like 2 weeks, then for 4 or 5 days, sell, then nothing for a couple weeks, then sell. So I haven't experienced that, but a lot of people do talk about that. I haven't really heard about it for no sales for 2 weeks, but I do hear a lot of people say, hey, like one day I'll just have, I'm used to getting $200 in sales every day, and then all of a sudden I'll have like 1,000 day followed by like a $40 day. I hear that a lot. I contribute that a lot to just, sometimes it's just the season. Like August and September, in my experience, and from scholarly journals of other companies that do retail and do e-commerce, they say that typically across most industries that do product sales, August and September are pretty volatile. But I hear people talk about this in January and July and February and Christmas time. So I don't know. It's something that a lot of people talk about, and it's something that I don't have enough data to really speak on. But what I have learned is if I list consistently, I sell consistently. So, Corvette radio, that's my store. Awesome. Yeah, I can take a look at that if that's what you're asking. It's like eBay is somehow pushing out my items hard for a few days every couple weeks. Would you say that you're an inconsistent lister? Sometimes do you like list way more than usual? That could be a factor as well. Chris says J-Ride and like button. Appreciate you, Chris. You're a good guy. Shane at Soda City Flips said, I just had my best sales weekend ever. All I've done is keep consistent. I'm hoping it keeps the same pace. We'll see. Yep. That's awesome. If I understand correctly, you've been doing this for just under a year. So that growth is awesome. Keep that up, man. Chris says, hi. Corvette and Summer, I've noticed that type of pattern of sales. When I have some days I list nothing, then 3 days I list a bunch, then a few days of nothing, then another 4 days of listing. Yeah, that sounds pretty common to me as well. Which is insanely dumb, allowing people in the cities to steal and get away with it. Yeah, don't really want to dive super into the politics of it, but definitely from a morality standpoint, you should never steal anything ever. Having some conversations. Okay, I don't know what to think at this moment. I had 10 parcels send the last month and had problems with 2 of them. And since my parcel hasn't been delivered on time, I did not get any sell or offer. Do with this information what you will. This isn't an official recommendation. This is just me thinking out loud. I know you're in Mexico, and I know I lived in Mexico for 2 years. And I remember my parents sent me an email, not an email, a letter on February. They sent me a letter in February, April, and September in the same year, and I got all 3 letters the same day in September. So it took 6 months, 5 months, whatever it was, to get one letter that was sent in February. So if I were you, this is just me thinking out loud. This may hurt your sales a bit, but for the account health, I would probably do a 5 business day handling time. And when you get sales, to ship them immediately. And that 5-day handling time is going to give you a little bit more of a buffer when it comes to those late packages, because the mailing, I don't want to talk crap here, but I lived there and I know how horrendous the mailing system is in Mexico. So I would adjust for that. I don't know. If you're selling items and accepting offers, the same eBay pushes your store so they can get their cut of the listings. Yeah, so that makes a lot of logical sense. If you are active and if you are saying yes to proposed offers, I would think logically that the platform that gives you those opportunities would give you more of them. I've definitely benefited from the draft log. I'll try to save at least 1/3 of the items in my draft bank for days I don't either have time to list or have found quality items to list. Yeah, it really does give you a nice buffer to keep everything flowing in your business. I think the eBay algorithm has become so complex and self-governing that the individuals at eBay who make the micro adjustments barely know what each tweak to the code does. That's actually a very, very good point. I have some coders in my family, and I have some friends in high school that went on to code, and I have a few friends that work for Apple and Google and things like that. And I've actually heard them say similar things. They say a lot of times they'll make adjustments thinking that it'll result to A, but it actually results to like P. so yeah, something to think about as well. You can't call eBay no service in Mexico, man. Yeah, I don't have much advice for that situation, unfortunately. Shoot, yeah, I don't know. Hi, just joined the live, and I don't think eBay would hold back growth. I think the problem is when people grow too fast, they are not able to keep up and could lead to defects in their account. Yep, yeah, so I completely agree with that. But I have seen from other people's personal experience. I've never experienced myself. I just keep growing at the rate that I want to grow. I've never experienced any of these buffers or anything like that. But some people really do complain about these buffers that could be in place. It may just be that they are not listing fast sell-through items, and if they listed better items, they would have faster sell-through. I lean that direction for sure. For sure. Hank says, I think USPS is using Ground Advantage to reduce how many free priority boxes being used to save. I use much less now. Doubt they will do free Ground Advantage boxes. That's also a good point too. Clothing reseller here, looking to expand. I have 15 golf clubs that sell for $150 each that I got for $3 each. Awesome. I haven't listed them for the exact reason. Maybe I should put a few up at a time. Yeah, so when it just comes to like 15 one-off items, I think you're good to go. Unless they're new. I've said this before. I don't let more than 1% of my items on eBay be new, because I've never had issues with that before, but I never want to have those issues. I do a little bit of retail arbitrage from like Costco and Walmart here and there, but I have 2,700 items active, and I won't have more than 30 new items, because you run into a lot more issues with new items than used ones from what I've seen, even though I've never had issues with either. Everybody wants to grow and grow and grow fast and have a big fat bank account. It's true. That's what we're here for. But the smartest entrepreneurs understand that slow is fast and fast is slow. You go so slow at the beginning that you just get so good at what you're doing that the growth is just exponential every time. Sorry for being absent, but we had a hurricane on top of the chemo hits hard this time. Lost track of motivation for all this, but I will be here again as you always give positive motivation. Hey, I appreciate that, and I really hope you're doing good. There's been a couple hurricanes across this good part of the world recently. I hope everyone's doing all right. But can you handle the responsibilities that come with that? Yeah. So that's the key right there is if you increase your workload, can you increase the problems that come with that workload? That's essentially, I've talked about this in my podcast before. Sorry guys, I'm letting my dog out. That's essentially what being a business owner and an entrepreneur is just consistently fixing problems and overcoming barriers. That's what you get paid money to do. There's always problems within your business. There's always hurdles to get over. And the ones that get over the hurdles make the money. The ones that don't subsequently don't. Okay, let's see here. Just want to say thanks for the great advice on selling. Started picking up remotes and sunglasses and eyeglass frames. Sold a few remotes the past couple weeks. Thanks again. Hey, that's awesome. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, remotes are awesome. Remotes were life-changing for me. As weird as that sounds, they were life-changing. Everybody wants to grow fast and have a lot of money in their bank account, but can you handle the responsibility that comes with it? Yep. Okay. There we go. They got up to 6K each, the Giannis Prism rookie PSA 10. Yeah, I had it was an optic rookie, but yeah, it was those PSA. If I could have had a PSA 10 rookie Prism, I got my hand. I had a optic. Not an optic, just a Donruss Luka rookie card that when I sold it for $700, just the Donruss base. Like the hobby was freaking wild back then. I once had 30 and I did sell them for 6K each. It was the Gary Vee effect. Yep. Yeah. So sometimes I talk about that all the time too. He was the one saying, if he wins a championship, oh, watch out. And that's what happened. And we watched out. Where do you get 10 cents for listing? eBay charges 35. Enter for each listing is renewed. Yeah, if I said 10 cents, that was an error. Sorry about that. Thank you. I have nearly 3 weeks worth of drafts. It takes the pressure off having to list every day. It keeps the algorithm happy. Couldn't agree more. A lot of you may not know. I have hereditary migraines. I get a migraine. When I was in high school, I would get a migraine every 3 weeks or so. In college, it was once every 6 weeks. Recently, it's only been every 2 months, which has been awesome. But man, oh man, I got the worst migraine of my life this weekend, and I'm really glad that I had my draft bank in place because I usually can power through and get a little bit of work done with a migraine, but not that one. That was wild. I don't know off the top of my head where that is. If you just Google it, it'll show you step by step in the forums. Sorry, I don't know that off the top of my head. For a while, ground advantage was an amazing thing for me. Oh, sorry, I was referencing the lower 48 states. Just if you were listening and not reading the screen, if you want to find out that information, just do a quick Google search and they'll show you step by step how to do that. For a while, ground advantage was an amazing thing for me here in Alaska, but lately anything over 1 pound seems to be going via barge ship. Should I adjust handling time or does eBay estimate correctly? Yeah, I wouldn't trust anyone but myself when it comes to things like that. Most people don't even see the handling time, so I don't think it affects your sales too much. Like, for example, I have 2-day handling time because my post office sucks. Shout out to you guys. So a lot of times my packages aren't scanned and are actually sent off a day or two late. So I have a 2-day handling time, but I do same-day shipping just so that way. Because even with that, I still have, looking at my numbers here, I still have a 0.57% late shipment rate. So even though I have those set in place, my my post office still messes it up here and there. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, being a problem solver and overcoming barriers. A bad business owner would say, oh my gosh, my post office sucks. I'm just going to complain about it. And then, not to say that I'm an incredible entrepreneur, but a good entrepreneur just fixes that problem and extends his handling time 2 days. A lot of people say my thrift stores suck or people overcharge at garage sales. If you want to be a good business owner, you have to figure out creatively how to get past those issues. Sorry for the rant. What's going on, people? How's it going, Paige? Nice to see you here. Which would be a better rookie card to hold on to, Jalen Green or Tyrese Halliburton? Wow. These are the questions I can't wait. I have a different YouTube channel. It's called JRide Rips. It's where I open basketball cards. I actually just shot a video that I'll be posting later tonight. Really passionate about cards and basketball in general. I'm really excited to start having lives on that channel to talk about questions like this. I think Tyrese Halliburton is special. I think he's going to be a top 10 point guard of all time, and he may be top 5. But Jalen Green is from the Philippines, so he has a cult following of every single person that is Filipino. So honestly, I think both are a great buy and sell. One, because I think Tyrese Halliburton is going to be the better player, but I also think that Jalen Green is going to have a better cult following. So there's always going to be a Filipino that wants to buy Jalen Green cards. But when you have a dime a dozen American basketball players, you have to be a fan of Tyrese Halliburton specifically to buy his card. But to get a Jalen Green or a Jordan Clarkson card, all Filipinos want a card or two. So I'm late again. Hi from Arkansas. And basketball is growing every single year in the Philippines. People are, especially with Jordan Clarkson and Jalen Green. So yeah, I think Jalen Green is going to get the slight win. Dan Miller says, oh wait, you guys are having a conversation with Dan Miller. Sorry. Let's see. Heading off on vacation on Friday, and we'll put my store on vacation mode. I built up a draft bank to push out to active listings during the time away. Is that a good idea? Yeah, I think that's a great idea. How long is the vacation? On vacation, heading off on vacation Friday. If your vacation is a week long, what I would do is, instead of putting it on vacation mode, I would just extend my handling time 5 days is what I would do. But both ways work. I think you have a good plan already. Listing just flowing now that I have the basement in proper order. Yeah, listing. They say a cluttered mind is like the devil's workshop or whatever. I feel like that's the same too in business. Like, I'm not like the cleanest person, but I'm not a dirty person either. When I'm cleaner than normal, I'm more productive than normal. When my surroundings are a bit more chaotic, so is my productivity. What player are you investing in right now? So I don't invest, I churn and burn. So like when I go to sports cards places and I find a card for $1 that's worth $8, I'll buy it and I'll sell it for $8. Or if I find a card that's $6. For example, this was awesome. At a sports card shop the other day, I found a Kevin Durant National Treasures numbered to 99. There's only 99 of these cards in the world, and it has a part of his jersey in it. I bought that for $6, and it's in my draft bank right now for $100, and I think it'll sell the first week it's listed. So I don't buy a player hoping that his stock will go up. I just buy and try to sell as fast as I can, and then get more money, and then keep buying more cards to sell more cards. So when's the J Ride Flips, 1 Foot Flipper, Soda City Flips weekly podcast starting up? Dude, I don't know about weekly, but that would be really cool to have a podcast to be on a podcast with you guys. That'd be really cool. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. We should get it going sometime for sure. 5 Feet Flippers podcast, because me and Shane have 2 each and you only have 1. It's funny. John Doe says, part-time reseller. My job hours are going to be insane the next 10 to 2 weeks. 10 days to 2 weeks, I think is what he means. What is the best way to keep traffic? Ship only on Saturday or time away 5 days a week? My job hours are going to be insane for the next 2 weeks. What is the best way to keep traffic? Ship only on Saturday or time away 5 days a week? I would extend your handling time. and then ship on Saturday. And I would let everyone know every time they bought something from you, saying, hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm on vacation or I'm swamped at work or whatever. And so I can only ship on the weekends. Is that okay? And then go from there. And he says, I have yet to find a single remote camera or designer glasses from your list, and I have been looking in a bunch of different thrift stores. Where the heck do you find them? I find them at thrift stores and garage sales. I would actually kind of stay away from designer, especially in the beginning. But if you mean like when I hear designer, I hear Gucci and Prada and what's it called, Chanel and stuff like that. I guess you could consider Ray-Bans and Oakley's designer, but they're like a tier below, in my opinion. But yeah, I just found them at thrift stores, and I've been to a ton of thrift stores across the country, and I haven't. A lot of people tell me they don't have remotes or sunglasses, which sucks because they're two of my best sellers. But that's a problem that you have, and as a business owner, you just need to get over that problem. Maybe you can source them online. Maybe you can find them at yard sales. Maybe you can talk to someone at the thrift stores and you find out, yeah, I mean, we get remotes all the time and we just throw them away. Or maybe you do learn, hey, yeah, we do list them on our site. There's a ton of different things that you have to find out as a business owner to get what you need. Great to make a live stream. Your podcast with Justin Resales helped me get the right mental perspective, particularly treating reselling as a business and his warnings on starting a YouTube channel. Yeah. Whether you're full-time or part-time, I'm full-time, Justin is part-time, and we both treat it like a business. And I recommend that everyone treats it like a business. Scott Daly says, hey, J-Red, I can't remember. Was it DirecTV remotes or Dish remotes that you said sell really well? It's Dish. DirecTV is awful. I've never bought nor sold a DirecTV remote, but Dish does really well, especially the 40.0. That's the newest model of remote, and it sells really well. I actually got a legit sponsor request, but it was Vendoo. Nice. So are you gonna be team Carrie and Kevin and go with List Perfectly, or are you going to be oh my gosh, or are you going to be Team Dave and go Vendoo? You should Paige, you should put that in the you're part of the Trash to Cash podcast Patreon, right? You should put that in the what's that app called? Jeez Louise, I'm blanking on some words. Discord. You should put that in the Discord and have everyone debate whether you should be Team Vendoo or Team List Perfectly. How do you have 2-day handlings and still have top rated plus? I don't have top rated plus. I just have top rated. If I move, so I have top rated, so I save 10%, but I don't save an additional 10% with the plus. I think I have top rated plus for like one item, but not all of my items. And that's because I end up, if I have next day handling, every 9 months I fall below top rated because of my situation with the post office. So I just have the 2-day handling time, so I never drop out of top rated. Bent Station eBay gives me 250 listings per month. After that, it's 35 cents. The 250 works for me as I have just supplemented Social Security. Yep. Yeah, that works. Sounds like a great plan. Also, is it better to sell individually or lot them up as 2 packs or more? With remotes, I sell the majority of my things individually. If I get, like, I would rather just like have like a decent store and just have sales coming in every day. So I always list individually. Like I'll get like a complete set of golf clubs, and then instead of listing all of them as a set, I'll list the 9-iron and the 8 and the 7 all individually. 1 week on that vacation. So yeah, honestly, you're good to go either way. Just whatever you think is better for you. Not interested in cross-listing page. Having some conversations back and forth. From my research, it seems that eBay only limits sales growth to sellers with at least 2,000 items listed. I'll watch later. Keep up the great videos. Hey, thanks for that, Brightline. Yeah, there's a lot of lot of things, lot of rhetoric going on around it. Report back. Picking up Kobe, Halliburton is a blown knee away from being a bust. That's true, but and so is everybody else. Zion cards have tanked massively. Prospecting can be challenging, but can pay off well. Probably is lately too much saturation. Yeah, but if Wembanyama is a generational talent, and if Zion Williams is an all-star this year, I personally think the basketball card market and the sports cards market in general, I think it's going to increase by 20% over the next 4 or 5 months. That's my opinion and my prediction. I'm probably wrong, but that's my prediction. I've been flipping off and on 20 years plus. You have given me some good tips. Thank you very much. Hey, thanks for reaching out, Michael. Appreciate that. Glad to see you on the GyroPack team. What is your favorite Polymiller color and why is it the daisy print? So yeah, if anyone's interested in buying some Polymillers and helping out one of your favorite YouTubers, if I am one of your favorite YouTubers, you can use the link below to get Polymillers. It's funny, in my emails back and forth with them, they asked me what color I wanted, and I said, I don't care. Just send me as many as you can. And as fast as you can, and I don't care what color they are. So when it comes to like things like that, I'm not emotional whatsoever. And they sent me this color, some teal, and then also some cute little purple. And then I got these for higher value basketball cards. Got some blue bubble mailers. And then got some cute little pink ones. But if you guys watched my last what sold video, what is pink and what is purple, right? I sold some Noble shoes. They've gotten returned 3 times. And the buyer that I put lavender in the listing and they returned them saying they were pink. And then the next buyer, I put pink and they returned them saying that they were lavender. So that was fun. I received an email from eBay today regarding eBay Open 2023. They have a live event in Atlanta. Are these worth attending? I mean, if you want a sense of community, yes, but you're not really gonna, in my opinion, you're not really gonna learn much at the eBay Open. But it's fun and it helps you make connections and things like that. John Doe, 10 to 12 weeks. Shoot, yeah, that's. If I was in that situation, I would, to be completely honest with you, if I was in that situation, I would take all my listings down for 10 to 12 weeks, really focus on my job, and then restart my eBay business after that. But if you want to keep it going, you would just have to have a 7-day handling time. That's what I would do if you wanted to continue it. Zion may be a good buy. Not sure if they can go much lower. Maybe he can finally stay healthy. Yeah. I think this is the year that he plays 60 games in a season. I think it is. Kate Spade glass is good. Found some yesterday. Yeah. If you can get them for $1.50, the frames only will sell minimum 15. I sell them for like 25 all the time. I had to step away for about 2 minutes. Did you answer my question about where I answered? Yeah, I told you I don't know the answer to that, and you just need to Google it. If you just Google, I would type into Google how to set lower 48 shipping policy eBay, and it'll just give you step-by-step how to do that, because I don't know how to do it off the top of my head. The military puts it like this: slow is smooth. No, that's what I was trying to say. Okay, yes, I was misquoting that. That is what I was trying to say. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Thank you, Daniel. I sell a lot of toys and collectibles. Something I do to boost sales is if I feel it's slow, I list Lego sets or minifigures. I always buy them to store away like a savings, but I do collect them as well. Yeah, if you have like slow sales, put some fast moving items in there, and sometimes it can help your slower moving items as well. I picked up first generation AirPods. Should I list as 1 item or 3? I do 3, but doing 1 is great too. So I just like to have a bigger store and have more things consistently moving and flowing, but you're going to make around the same amount of money both ways. 1 is less work. So do you want a little bit more work and feel like the grease is gliding, or do you want to do the work once and make the same amount of money? One Foot Flipper says, and plus you also have to consider you're gonna give eBay more fees on the shipping and taxes on 3 orders than 1. So you'll probably make more money doing it once, but I just like to do it 3. Selling collectibles and investing in them are 2 different things. I always treat my collectibles like they have an expiration date. Yep. Yeah, I have a 30,000 basketball card collection, and I'm selling it all of it, man. I'm going to get down to a personal collection of 50 cards. My wife doesn't believe in me, and I don't think I believe in myself either, but maybe 200 or 1,000. We'll see what happens. I like that color. Yeah, it's a nice looking color. Go get you some. Use the link. Just kidding. Kate says, "Oh no, I finally catch a live and I'm an hour late. Have to rewatch later. Thanks for the awesome informative channel. I've learned so much." Hey, thank you so much, Kate. That's awesome. What up, J-Red? How are you today? I'm doing great, flipping from the trailer, especially when I get to read your name out loud. I love it. You don't invest in collectibles. You collect collectibles because you love collecting things. You sell collectibles to make those are 2 different things, collecting collectibles and reselling them. I think you're having a conversation with Paige there. What kind of label printer do you use? Do you have a link? I'm at the point where it's slowing me down cutting the taping label. Yeah, so if you go to my YouTube channel, the top banner, it'll say like 3 links. I have an Amazon link, and it links this Rollo printer right here. I use this Rollo printer right here, and I sell throughout the year on average 20 items a day. And I haven't had any major issues with it at all. Every once in a while, it'll like keep spitting out too many labels, but you just factory reset it and it's good to go. Also, if you want to pick up labels from my store, that's appreciated too. But if you don't. But yeah, so I definitely recommend the Rollo. So I like it. I like it a lot. Hey, J Red Flips, IDK. If you do eBay seller reviews, I saw your email listed, but would want to ask first. Properly requesting. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so a lot of people know my opinion on that. I've done it before, and a lot of YouTubers do it, and I see that the same people ask every single YouTuber in their lives to do a channel review for them. So I just think it's us giving you guys fish instead of teaching you to fish. So I really recommend asking questions during the lives and watching all of my YouTube content and all of other top YouTubers content. And I just don't think that store reviews help people. So I don't do them. Thanks for asking. Just sold my first remote. Thanks to your info. Been only selling men's clothing, but started picking up electronics, and super motivating to see one sell. Yeah, good on you, Ethan. Ethan, you've been a channel member you were my 2nd ever channel member, so I'll never forget that. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's also awesome to hear you guys expanding and making more money. That's awesome. Ricky says, the thing about collectibles and investing, you guys are having a pretty extensive conversation about this. You can do whether you want, whatever you want. None of my MJ autos are for sale right now, but maybe one day. Everything has a price and you can't take them with you. Exactly. I had this friend in high school that he had a really cool Jeep. And then in front of his dad, I said, "Would you ever sell the Jeep?" And Josh said, "No." And then his dad was like, "And everything's for sale at the right price." And for whatever reason, that always rings in my head. Thanks. Everyone I review gets mad because it is always their prices. Yeah, unfortunately, eBay reviews just don't help overall. It's just unfortunate. Thank you, J-Red. I won't budge on it. Seller reviews. Does the whiteout feature for main photos boost listings? No, I don't think so. So at one point, eBay recommended it because it helped them rank on Google search. But I think especially for used items, I think a neutral background. I'll show you my background that I use. That's my background. You guys can see a few. I just ripped some cards open. But I use that gray background because it gives a more accurate depiction of what the customer is actually receiving. A lot of times when someone buys a used item with a white background, they think it's new and they're disappointed when they get it and they return it because they thought it was new, but it wasn't. So I use a gray background for that reason. All right, guys, that's all the questions we have. If you guys want to ask a few more questions, I can go over those quickly. But if not, I guess we will end the live here. Just wanted to thank you guys for coming out. Also, if anyone has any last opinions about the topic, I truly believe that eBay is an incredible blessing in our lives, and it's an amazing opportunity. The barrier to entry is really low, and there's a lot of information out there for free, and you can learn how to run a really awesome business. And I'm thankful every single day for eBay and the opportunities that it has given me and my family. I think that they do a really good job. I really do. A lot of people have a negative opinion about the platform. I have a very positive one. I'm not immune, and I don't just look away at its weaknesses. It has some, but I think overall eBay is an amazing company, and I'm glad that I found this honestly this loophole in the matrix. Like, so much money to be made doing not too much work. So yeah, I do think that eBay limits our growth in a very positive way, and I think that they limit it. I mean, I still have never run into these buffers. We'll see next year, when I've been doing this for 3 years, if maybe there is a more noticeable cap. But I just keep growing year over year, month over month, which I'm very excited about. And I really appreciate you guys coming into my lives, asking questions, using my links for everything. It really helps out. Really allows me to have more time to make more content and to spend time with my wife and our future kids one day. And just really appreciate everything you guys do for me. So doesn't look like too many people have any questions, so I'll go ahead and sign out here. I think one last question here. Have you ever tested out bumping up promotions versus discounting them? I wonder if 5% bump in promotions would produce similar sales results to a 20% discount sale. What I do is I started at 1.1%, and then I've slowly bumped my way to 2.6. I've never gone down, and I've never gone up past 2.6, and I've stayed at 2.6 for over half a year now. So that's what I like to do. So yeah, I think that's it. A lot of people are saying thanks and saying goodbye. So I really appreciate it. I hope you guys all have a good night. I am going to go upload that video to my JRag Rips channel. If you guys aren't interested in sports cards, please don't feel like you have to subscribe. It may actually ruin my metrics and make it harder to grow. So if you're interested in sports cards, I'd really appreciate a subscribe there. And yeah, I'm also going to list 25 cards today as a hobby. So thank you guys for coming out here. Really appreciate it. Love you guys.